All right, welcome back to the channel. Well, this is actually after everything you're going to see now, but I forgot to do an intro for the video, which I don't know how important that is, but you're going to see in this video quite a few tractors. We had a great turnout. I didn't hear any complaints. It was fun had by all. We had quite a few spectators. Lunch was excellent. It was bratwurst and chips. And Michigan Milk Producers Association had a little booth there. They were giving out samples of, was that milkshakes or what was that?
Ultra filtered milkshakes.
Ultra filtered, it was high protein milkshakes. Ooh, tasty. Well, it was cold too, so that was, you know, and a warm day like today. But those were tasty. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We must have plowed, like I say, well, I did do the outro, so it had to be at least 75 acres. If it was 100 acres, it wouldn't surprise me. So, all right. Well, yeah, we had just about every color tractor out there. We only had one Farmall. That was my father-in-law's. We didn't have any Fords. That is something I realized. But we had Molines, of course. Tons of John Deeres. Quite a few good-looking Olivers. And a case or two. And what else did we have? Al's Chalmers. I can't forget the AC guys. My bad. Sorry, Randy, Keith. Anyways, but yeah, we had fun. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had a 5 bottom there, so nothing any bigger. But if somebody brought something bigger, that wouldn't bother me at all either. So looking forward to next year. So we'll try to plan that and do that again. So I want to thank everybody who did show up and coming, and anybody who helped behind the scenes. You know, Derek Flicky, he's the neighbor right there. He's also a football coach and you know, other stuff. He grilled the bratwurst, and I think his wife went to, you know, got all the supplies for there. Thank you to the Ruggles family for hosting. That was everything worked out great. Parking was good. We had bathrooms. We had shade. We had, you know, just room to be. So, all right. Well, let's get into the video. You're gonna get right into seeing me plowing on a 1050 with a 5 bottom. That worked really well. So I plowed a little bit. Jacob plowed a whole lot more than I did. And my dad, who said, I'm not gonna plow very much, he plowed a lot. But anyways, enjoy the video. Good looking 4010. John, I think pretty sure John painted that. Pretty heavy clay. I thought 1050 my plow did really well. I was happy with that. I'm ready. I think it's really hard packed right through here. Some guys are having trouble getting down. You can see it's getting better up there. I don't know why it's not going down. Woohoo! Nice. Oh, doing a nice job too, plowing. Of course, that's 720. Does a real nice job plowing. All right. Well, I'm gonna move my tractor out of the way. Turned it on. Get at her, fellas. Sounds good, Jason. Sounds good. Except for the brakes. Yeah. Cool. I'll let them get that set. Looking good, Brad. Glad you can make it. Glad you can make it. Yeah, you'll have that once in a while. So sweet. That G1000 will be able to play with that. You throwing that? I'll move this out of the way. that 504 barking. Okay, you're gonna plow in second direct, middle. Don't stop. You know what I mean? When headlands, don't stop. You only touch that lever. Put it down until about 6.5, 7. Dip down to, there you go. More throttle. Throttle. Get ready. Down to about 7. 6.5, 7. Yeah, go ahead. Full throttle. Down a little more. Let's see where you're at. Yeah. There's a couple sticky spots. You may have to raise it up just a little bit. Not much. You're not full throttle. Full throttle. Think you're big stuff now, don't you?
Raising up before I stop or no?
Yeah.
Huh?
You'll be all right here. But yeah, raise it up a little bit. But if we have to stop. Slow down a little bit. Full throttle back. Pull back. Hopefully they get going. She's not having any trouble pulling the free bottom. once you got it figured in, you get her in the ground. But,
Right.
so, I don't know what happened up there. Well, you got the bracket. Cool, 4210 heads. For those who don't know, this is exactly the same. It's a G705 Minneapolis Moline, of course, sheet metal, you know, in the front grille. Massey Ferguson had a fire in the 60s there at one of the factories, and they contracted Minneapolis Moline to make some tractors for them. So, the Massey Ferguson 95, 95 Super, and 97 were all Minneapolis Molines. The 95s were the GBD, 95 Super was the GVI or G6, however you want to pronounce it. Then the 97, if it was two-wheel drive, the 705, four-wheel drive, it'd been a 706. So really, really nice tractor. He just bought this not too long ago. What did you do? Huh?
Picked up a jewel.
A jewel? Oh, rock. Oh, Fred said any rocks you find, you gotta take home. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man. Okay, now we're starting up again. Big old rock. Second gear, yeah. Doing a nice job plowing. Looks like it needs to come down this way just a little bit. There we go. Pretty rare tractor here, boys. Doing a nice job plowing. Oliver did make a great plow. For those who don't know, that's exactly the same as a G1050, like what's in front of it. I think there's only about 8 of those made. Pretty rare tractor. Pretty rare. Yeah. That's exactly the same as this one. It's like my gauge wheel needs to go. Yeah, I need to do a little adjustment. I can see it better now. But yeah, that's the same as Minneapolis only 2705. We just got that. Got LP. Oh, that sounds good. Sounds good. That's nice old tractors here. Oh, that dirt's heavy. This is a beautiful 60. Man. I knew to. Yep. Don't hit that. Nice little 4010 here. Nice maneuver. 4010 diesel. There's Rob. Nope. Randy flirting with the girls. Keith Pearson, K&J Excavating, Mendon City, Michigan. Sweet. Alright, I was just playing with it. He's got that thing idling. Now, guy in front of me going a little bit slow. Well, you know, it is what it is. All right. Looking good. Oh, that's a rollover plow over there. There he is. Looking good. Yeah, we all know the 5020 can handle more than a 4-bottom. That's the only plow they had ready that he wanted to plow with. So that's why he's only pulling a 4-bottom. That, and he just bought that plow, wanted to use it. Should have brought his 4010 John Deere for that. Can't hardly hear that thing running. Inspectors. $18.50. Looking good. Sounds good too. Just got that painted right in time for the fair. Traffic jam. That muffler looks familiar. That muffler looks familiar. Okay. Yeah, needs a couple sealing rings on his pump too. Bowling plow. Pretty sharp tractor there. Yeah, I need to adjust that This isn't your guys' SE, is it?
That's his.
Okay. He looks
Levi
pretty.
Lauder.
Levi, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like he needs a straw hat on.
Yeah, pretty well. They're kind of
Where's he from?
Silverwood.
Oh, really?
You know Orland Lauder?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's his grandson.
Oh, okay. So he's really not Amish.
No,
He looks like it.
well, they actually have absorbed into Mennonite culture.
Okay.
I guess over in Millington,
Yeah, there's Amish over there.
the Amish are.
Hey. Everybody's eating lunch. There's nobody to drive me. Ready? Okay. We're doing that very fast.
there. Good looking 4010. Who's that?
Corey Will.
Yeah, I don't know. I know who he is, but well, yeah, they're plowing. That plow was plenty deep, but he told me that they go back, they can go up to the barn, so it looks like they go a little more yet. But how deep they going? Yeah. basically all the tractors and plows are home. Not quite yet, but shortly the ZB and 2-bottom will be here. My friend Andrew Raby volunteered, and he was excitedly wanted to drive it home for me, so no big deal there. Thought I was going to save myself a trip going back up there anyways that way, but I do have to go back, grab my dad's tractor and my brother's skid steer. He's having a little bit of trouble with his pickup, so I'll oblige them and grab those. So yeah, Andrew will be here shortly. Then yeah, I would say very few breakdowns or mishaps. The ground is a little bit hard, and it's all clay, and sometimes the clay was a little bit stiffer in spots, so plow a little bit hard. So, but I think everybody had fun all in all. Leave a comment. Which one was your favorite tractor? And you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't mention one of my tractors. That's okay. You know, if the 5020 of my dad's was your favorite, cool. If the D19 pulling 4 bottoms was yours, that's fine too. Or if it was that Massey 97 of my friend Jason, he was pulling my 3-bottom plow though. Anyways, that doesn't matter. It was all fun had by all, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Jacob was running the drone, so I'm hoping all that turns out well. If somehow I can figure out how to get the GoPro sound with the drone footage, I'll do it, but I don't know how. So I do know how to put the music to it, but you know, someday I'll figure it out. But anyways, yeah, it's about 4 o'clock now. We started a little bit after 9. Well, it was about 9:30, I guess, is about when we started that. And I'm not sure how many acres we plowed, but I would say it was getting close to 100 acres. Getting close. Definitely was 75 acres. So, and the whole field was 200 acres. So, you know, maybe 75, 80. It was getting close to that 100. But we know we had like 25 tractors there. Great turnout. Probably had 60 people there throughout the day. Had people, you know, just there to watch. Fred had his little, you know, people carrier, and you know, drove them around, you know, so people could, you know, watch him plow as well. So I'm sure he was, you know, proud of that too. But yeah, well, all in all, I think it went really well. So yeah, look forward to that. Next weekend is the Tuscola County Old Engine Club, or Thumb Area Old Engine Club show in Carroll, Michigan. I will be there. Jake thinks he wants to take a couple tractors there, so he's going to babysit them. But I don't know how much time I'm going to spend there. And then the following weekend is the Mid-Michigan Old Gas Tractor Association show in Oakley, Michigan, featuring Minneapolis Moline and hosting the MMCI Summer Show. So that's in Oakley, 15, 16, and 17. For those who are wondering, they do have a loading and unloading dock. So if you have a trailer that doesn't have ramps, or a pickup that's got something in the back, yep, they can get you unloaded. I know there's usually loaders and skid steers and stuff around there too. But like I say, and just a heads up, if you're going, it's $15 a day to get in, which it is what it is. Or if you're going to be there all 3 days, I think it's $30. So what a deal. But anyways, it's a great show to attend. I cannot say enough about that. It's usually warm there, but there's lots of food to eat and drink, and well, you don't eat, drink food, but you know what I'm saying, what I'm getting at. But my favorite is apple cider slushies. I think I've said that before, but that is my favorite. And that'll be on the west side of the fairgrounds, usually where that little stand is, not too far from where the Oliver boys usually have a whole bunch of Olivers over that way. It's not too far from the pulling tracks. And yes, I said tracks. They have multiple tracks. I think, like I've said before, you know, they have the weight transfer, you know, skids. They have, you know, the dead weight pull, and then, you know, and then they have the pulls that they do on concrete too, you know, where they put the tires on backwards and the tractor goes, woo. Yeah, buddy, that's there if you've seen it on YouTube or anywhere else. Yeah, that's a big deal around there. So lots of food, lots of, you know, huge flea market. I cannot say, you know, enough about that too. And it's a quality flea market, I always think. So like I say, lots of parts vendors, you know, and antiques, and you know, and sure, there's the, you know, the cheaper tools and filters, and you know, shop rags, and you know, those booths too as well. But and shuttle service, and yes, golf carts, you can have them. So and those things there, and I do believe is some there to rent there. If you are able to walk, you can walk everything if you needed to. But if you aren't real, you know, good at walking anymore, if you know what I'm saying, there is golf carts and, you know, all that kind of stuff available. So all right, hope to meet you there. I will be there all 3 days. I don't know how much per day I will be there. Saturday is usually a big day. I will be there pretty much all day long. Friday I probably will be there most of the day as well. Sunday I'm gonna start home, tractor's home. So you know, might be there for, you know, a little bit and then load up, and you know, I'll probably be in and out on Sunday. So if you see me there, please don't hesitate, come up, say hi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to meeting, you know, a bunch of people who are, you know, saying they're going to be there. Looking forward to seeing all my Minneapolis Moline friends from across the country are going to be there. So there's some guys that are, don't miss a show, you know, unless there's, you know, a really good reason. So, you know, anyways, most of my, I say most, but some of my parts suppliers will be there. Clint Stom, I mentioned him many times, and Jay Grosskreutz will be there. Both of those guys. Clint's bring me a set of seat cushions for the M5, so maybe that'll be part of the video, me putting seat cushions on the M5 at the show. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take the M5 there. It did pretty well today. The valve cover gaskets actually on both heads are seeping a little bit and are running down. At one time I thought that was steam running up through the hood a little bit. No, it's the oil kind of getting warm and doing oily, like, hot, you know, things. So, but temperature gauge never got even hot. Not even, you know, it got past the black into the green, barely into the green, so it never got hot. So that's it when I was wondering. So, and I figured out, I touched it, and it's oil, it's not antifreeze. So that's good. I mean, just got to clean up a mess and glue them down again. Or you know, I didn't do that before. I just put the gaskets back on. But anyways, enough babbling. Hope you enjoyed the 2025, you know, plow day we hosted here. That was a great selection of tractors, great people there. I didn't hear anybody complaining about anything other than, you know, pull's kind of hard, you know, but you know, this is summertime. I thought we had pretty good moisture there, you know, and nobody argued that either. It's just, you know, sometimes clay pulls kind of hard. So, and it was kind of stiff. Really don't know when the last time, I didn't ask, you know, the landowner there, Fred, you know, and Tim wasn't there today, but when's the last time that piece of ground was plowed, you know? So I don't know. But anyways, hey, until next time, I appreciate watching. We'll see you in the next one.